Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to the Cold War Warrior campaign in the Su-25. And I'm in a little pre-mission planning and figuring out how to use the weapons phase. This time I'm going to take up the KH-29L Kedge. It's a big semi-active laser homing missile, and I'm just making sure that I know how to use it and making sure that it's going to take out the intended target for this mission, which is going to be a bridge, which is a perfect target for the Kedge. It's got a big penetrator warhead on it. But let me go ahead and practice this real quick, and you'll also see this as an on-the-range video, so I'll be right back. Okay, so coming back around, set up in that same general location, I'm going to activate my laser designator. I'm going to slew my reticle around, or just fly the reticle to the right general location, and I'm going to designate the target, and that will ground stabilize the reticle. Now you'll immediately notice that I have a red light on the right side of the gun sight. That means that I'm within range, and I must have been right at the edge of it when I designated. So now I'm going to slew the reticle over, maintaining good trim, and I'm going to fire the weapon. Now I can still make some adjustments as the weapon is in the air, but again, good trim is extremely important here, and you can see that I've kind of botched this one, and that's actually a very good point to make, is that when you fire the weapon, assuming you have two weapons on, when you fire the first weapon, the trim goes way out of whack and you start to roll into the direction of your remaining weapon. So that makes additional corrections to the aim point on the ground almost impossible, as you saw right there. I mean, it can be done, but just be aware that when you fire the weapon, that is going to happen so that you can compensate, hold the aircraft steady, and then start to slew the reticle over to the target to make some more fine corrections. So let's come back around, set up on that one more time, and we'll see if we can get a good hit. Okay, now this time around, let's go for a target that I have in mind for an upcoming mission. I'm going to take out a bridge, which is a perfect target for this type of weapon. Now, to recap, select keyboard 7 to enter air-to-ground mode. On my armor control panel, you can see that I have an orange over my station with my remaining Kedge on it, and I have missile selected as my weapon type. At this point, I just need to find my target, so let's go ahead and look out here in the distance. And yeah, this one will do. So let's go ahead and activate the laser designator. I've got my green light on. Let's go ahead and fly the reticle over to the target, designate, and now let me slew it on over. Maintaining good trim. That should be perfect right there, actually. Now I just need to wait until I'm in range. I'm waiting for this red light to come on to tell me that I'm within range. And the release will be inhibited until that light comes on. Okay, I have the light. Let's go ahead and fire the missile. I just need to maintain lock and track on that target until the missile impacts. Okay, so far so good. Should be getting impact any time now. There we go. Looks like it was a little bit off. I was going for the main support right there. It looks like it just either punched through it or I just missed the thing. So there you go. That attack on the bridge is exactly what I have in mind. Hopefully a little bit more successful. I'll have 2 shots on the bridge, so I'm going to go for a different aim point. I might actually try to fire 2 missiles on one pass. I have the first missile impact and then just kind of slew the cursor over to a different aim point on the bridge. Bridges can be kind of finicky in a DCS as well as they are in real life when it comes to getting hits and getting a good kill on them. But we'll see what we can make happen here. I'll be right back with the briefing. Okay, now picking up with the briefing, it looks like our forces continue to hold at the Makop area. Let's go ahead and see what we have in store here. 0730 starts, so an early morning mission, pinpoint strike in the Su-25. My loadout, 2 wing tanks, KH-29L, 2x, and 2x R60M. Now, 21st of December 1989, the 12th Panzer Division has completely crossed the Kuban River and continues to advance across the plains north of Makop. The 16th Guards Tank Division is avoiding any deciding ground engagement and commits its aviation units to attrit the enemy. And we can see the 2 forces, the 12th Panzer Division up here to the north, the 16th Guards Tank Division down here to the south, and holding a position north of Makop. The 42nd Guards Tank Division is now fully engaged in defending Krasnodar against the 5th Panzer Division over here to the west. Panzer Brigade 15 has turned west and attempts to encompass Krasnodar, while Panzer Brigade 13 assaults the city. The 2nd Panzer Grenadier Division stays back as reserve for the West German 3rd Corps. Now, my objective: forward elements of the West German 35th Panzer Brigade have secured an important bridge on the eastern flank of the 16th Guards Tank Division. Using this bridge, the 12th could initiate a large flanking maneuver. High Command wants to destroy the bridge. Time on target, 0752, maintain radio silence. Okay, target, strike the bridge at waypoint 4. So it looks like it's going to be up here in the same general area, just slightly west of where east of where we have been working. So, okay, flying north 115, then 59 kilometers, past the FIBA, north to steer point 4, take out a bridge. Got it. Okay, timing, takeoff 0735. That's going to give me until 0752 to get to the bridge. And plan is a low level ingress and egress from the target. Package elements, I'm Grotch 1, and I've got Wolf 1, a seed flight 2x Sukhoi 17s that I'll be working with on this mission. Threats, Hawk SAMs, like we've been up against before. It looks like we're going to be well within the threat ring of at least one of the Hawk batteries, so good thing we're down at low level. Looks like some Roland mobile SAMs and some more Gepard AAA. So similar threat to what we've been up against on the first 2 missions, and also the air threat F4Es, 6x expected in the air. Now, I don't have a dedicated fighter cover on this one. Hopefully there is some sort of a fighter cap, because the last 2 missions have seen a very active air picture as we get into the targets, so this might be a little hairy since we don't have anything specifically designated to cover us. I don't expect weather to be a factor. Let me see, wind, just light winds at ground level, not an issue. And again, takeoff time 0730. Let me see what we have for the second slide of the briefing. Okay, so visually identifying this bridge might be, let me see, that's going to be the trickiest part of this, because I've got, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bridges up here in kind of a cluster, so making sure that I'm using all my visual landmarks. I'm going to be looking specifically for the big river, or I don't know if that would even be a river. We'll have to see how that looks, but okay, it's going to be a bridge on this little tributary to this river on the western outskirts of this urban area. Okay, 8 kilometers from the IP, and yeah, I like this route going in from the side, kind of like you saw in the intro to this video, where I was going for one of the, what do you call them, the supports. I forget the engineering term for a support on a bridge. I'll go look that up later, but yeah, I like coming in from the side so that I can pick a specific aim point on the bridge and try to take out one of those big concrete supports. Although if I were going for like a dive bombing run, I might come in from the like east-west along the bridge so that I wouldn't have to be so precise. I could just put a stick of bombs kind of along the length of it. But yeah, in a precision type strike like this, yeah, I like this route. So I'll have this as a reference once I'm in the cockpit, and I'll study this a little bit more just to get a little bit of a better picture. And actually going to the mission planner might help on this. And yeah, another kind of busy briefing, and if I start to see too much information, I'll knock it off and call it quits. But let me see what intel I can get from this. Now, this is the bridge that I'm going after right here, and it looks like, okay, Stingers, which would be expected considering everything that we've been up against so far, has been heavily defended. It looks like, geez, 4 separate batteries of Stingers. I wonder if these are like the last one where they only activate after a certain time, or these might actually be active from the very beginning. I'm not sure, but either way, yeah, intel indicates that that is an expected threat. Looks like some Gepard. No, that's, let me see, that's got to be a AAA right there. Yeah, Gepard AAA. Roland, last seen at this location, and it looks like we're going to be not quite over the enemy lines, although it looks like they're pushing down with some tanks and APCs, part of the 12th Panzer Grenadier coming down, trying to secure the area. And fighter cover, there are some F4s up here expected to be in the area, but we already knew that from the briefing. Now, location of the Hawk site, that's got to be one up here. Is there, yeah, there's one closer right here. No, that's a Roland site. No, there's a Hawk site right there too, isn't there? Yeah, I can tell by the range ring, so definitely a good idea to stay low. It looks like my only expected threat, unless these Rolands and the Gepards start to really move around is going to be just the stingers and the small arms right there at the bridge, and I'll try to make this shot from as far out as I can. I mean, I don't think I'm going to be able to stay out of this range ring though, because it's about a 6 mile max range. Let me use the measuring tool right here. Well, oh geez, I'll be fine. Fire from right about out here. Geez, I could fire right at, if I can pick it up in time, I can fire from a point before I even get to the IP. So it might be a good idea in this case to sort of stand off a little bit, make sure that I can visually identify if I have to orbit out here even before I get to the IP. And in fact, let me adjust the IP steer point location out here a little bit so I can orbit right there, visually identify the target, run in, get rid of my missiles, and hopefully be off the target before I get into the range rings of any air defenses at the bridge itself. Now, as far as dealing with the air threat, I have plenty of my own air defenses down here. I had that, yeah, an SA-11 sight in Maycop. I saw that in action, taking out some F-4s in some earlier missions. SA-8s, oh yeah, looks like we're really set when it comes to dealing with those F-4s, so as long as I don't get lost and start to go up north, I should be fine, because I'm going to have at least, well, kinda sorta, I guess, de facto air superiority just by virtue of air defenses over my own lines, or at least local air superiority for this mission. Now, let me have a quick look at my flights. Okay, 2-ship, Grotch 1, let's see, and loadout, yeah, same loadout that I was playing around with earlier. 2x KH-29s and 2 fuel tanks and 2 R-60s on the wings. Fuel load, 50%, I don't think fuel is going to be an issue. Just to be safe though, I mean, if I'm taking wing tanks, I mean, I would rather in fact take a full internal load and ditch the wing tanks, but I'll play it somewhere in between. I'll go for just, yeah, 50% fuel just doesn't make sense if I'm taking wing tanks. I'll go for 80% total fuel for both me and, well, my wingman's up to 100%. Let's see, I'll go 80% on both. And yeah, my wingman has the same loadout, and that puts me at about 90% of my max gross weight, which is right about where I want to be. Now, I don't think I've looked at, let me think about chaff and flare loads. I would rather, considering the stinger threat, really load up on flare. So let me do this. I'll go 192/64 on the flare to chaff ratio for both my wingman and myself. So in that case, if I do get a little bit too close to the bridge within that threat envelope and start to get a ton of stingers fired at me, I'll be able to just dump flares without having to worry about quantity. I kind of hate to miss out on the chaff because of the Roland and the Hawk threat, but, well, yeah, let me just bump it up to 96/160, just in case we are surprised by some Rolands. Yeah, I like this as a configuration, both from the weapons point of view and from the fuel load and the chaff flare load point of view. So let's go ahead and get into the air. I'll think about this for a little bit longer, and I'll see you in the cockpit. Okay, starting from a pretty familiar location. I think it's the same place that we started from, or same HAZ we started from on the last one. Let me go ahead and get some power on the aircraft, and let's go ahead and get number 2 up and running. Let me bring up, let's see here, Bra 333 for 250. Okay, I'll bring up my checklist real quick. It's been a while since I've flown, so I need to reference the startup. Okay, closed canopy, left control C. Okay, canopy closed. Okay, more, yeah, AWACS calling in. I've already got my RWR up and running. Okay, so let's go ahead and get the left engine right out home to get it up and running. Clear fore and aft on 1, yeah. Okay, verified, got my good load out there. Okay, I see my left-hand engine instruments going. Let me go ahead and try to turn down the RWR. Or not. Yeah, there it goes. Here's something taking off in the background. Okay, okay, looks like a pretty good start on 1. We'll go ahead and get number 2 up and running. Okay, 1202, clear for startup. Okay, right engine, right control, home. Okay, and I've got... Okay, RPM's coming up on 2. And I've got some new graphics settings. I went back to the HDR, so that's why you have the sun glare right now. I'm going to try it out. I go back and forth between the no HDR and HDR. Sometimes I think it looks great, sometimes I think it looks ridiculous, and right now, for some reason, I think it looks okay. Okay, so number 2's coming up. Still got the engine start light on. Let me go Alt Control C so I can point. Okay, engine start light out. Okay, and let's see here. Let's go ahead and get taxi clearance here. So Sochi requests taxi.
Sochi, 33, руление.
Okay, let me stow the checklist. Okay, clear taxi runway 24. I'm just going to take it out to the left and take off from the same runway we always take off of. Okay, 7:35 takeoff time. I've got a couple minutes to spare, so let's go ahead and ditch the briefing. Okay, pop-up route 340 for 190, 500 hot. So that's up north. Okay, chocks out. Do a quick check of the brakes. Okay, looking good. Let's go ahead and take her on out and get her taxied. Let me ditch the comms menu. Okay, looking just fine. I wonder where my wingman is. It's always kind of a mystery on these, as far as where he's at. I might just get airborne, and if he has to taxi a while, make a quick circuit around the airfield. Let me turn up my volume real quick. I had it turned down to help me out earlier. And I've completely lost my RWR sound, haven't I? I need to tweak that. Okay, take it on around to the left. Let me get my rudders situated in the real world here. I'll continue to go out. Let me go... Yeah, there we go. Now I've got my RWR back. Barely. Okay, contrails. That's possibly the AWACS. That's the usual AWACS location up there orbiting. And let's see, what else do we have here? Not a whole lot. Yeah, there's an aircraft taxi, and that might be 2 right there. There might also be another flight going up. So timing, looking about 30 seconds or so to, I don't know, about 1 minute to scheduled takeoff time. Okay, so let me just bring it to a halt right here. Call the tower. Okay, 344 for 180, 3000. Got it. Okay, ATC request takeoff. Okay, clear for takeoff. I'm going to leave the flaps up. I was just playing with that. I either don't have it mapped. There should be like an intermediate flaps position for takeoff, I think. I'm just going to leave them up for this one. I'll rotate about 240 or so. No big deal. And you are my wingman. Yep, you gotta be because you have the same loadout as me. So perfect. Let's go ahead and do this.